You've probably heard the saying, go with your gut. Maybe it was before making a risky investment, deciding whether to take that job offer, or even figuring out if someone was telling you the whole truth. There's something mysterious about that deep down instinct, that strange whisper from your stomach saying, this feels right, or something's off. But here's the fascinating question. Can you actually trust it, or is your gut lying to you? Science is uncovering something extraordinary. Your gut isn't just for digesting food. It's more like a second brain, a vast network of nerves, chemicals, and signals that constantly talk to your mind. In fact, researchers like Mayer et al. 2015 have explored what's called the gut-brain axis, the superhighway of communication between your digestive system and your brain. Imagine billions of bacteria in your gut having their own conversation about how you feel, what you fear, and even what decisions you're about to make. Now, think about this. How many times have you felt a twist in your stomach before bad news arrived? Or that weird uneasiness before entering a deal that later turned out toxic? Sometimes your gut gets it right, eerily right. But here's the twist. It can also be dead wrong, because your gut isn't a fortune teller. It's more like a risk manager, scanning for danger, predicting threats, trying to keep you alive in a world it doesn't fully understand. So why does it feel so powerful? That's the survival mechanism at play. Our ancestors didn't have data charts, Google reviews, or endless analysis. They had instincts, quick emotional shortcuts that said, run when a predator was near, or stay when the fire was warm and the tribe was safe. Fast forward to today, and your gut still operates with those ancient settings. But the predators are different. Toxic relationships, financial scams, wrong business partners, fake opportunities. The gut tries to help, but sometimes it misreads the situation because the world evolved faster than our biology. Imagine this. You're in a meeting, everyone seems friendly, but your gut tightens. Should you trust that? Or what about the opposite? You meet someone online and it just feels right, but later you discover it was a scam. See, the gut's power is both a gift and a gamble. Researchers have found that gut feelings often arise before your conscious brain has even processed the information. Your stomach muscles, your heart rate, even the little receptors in your intestines, they react milliseconds ahead of your logical thinking. It's like a backstage operator pulling levers before the curtain rises. Sometimes those levers save your life. Sometimes they steer you into paranoia or hesitation. Here's where it gets even stranger. Your gut bacteria, trillions of them, might be shaping your mood, your cravings, even your decisions. A study found that people with imbalanced gut microbiomes were more prone to anxiety and fear-based decision-making. That means the sandwich you ate, the stress you carry, even the antibiotics you once took might be quietly rewriting your intuition. Let me give you a small story to warm this up. There was a woman, let's call her Rachel, who once ignored her gut when signing a contract. Everything on paper was perfect, the deal was smooth, the people charming, but something inside her felt like a knot. She overrode that instinct, thinking, I'm just being paranoid. Months later, she was entangled in lawsuits because the deal was a fraud. When I asked her what her gut felt like at the time, she said, it felt like I was about to step into a room with no oxygen. Was her gut magical? No. It was picking up microsignals, the tone of voice, the slight inconsistencies, the tension in her own body, things her rational brain dismissed, but her ancient system didn't. Your stomach has been whispering secrets your entire life. Think about the last time you were about to make a big decision, a job offer, a relationship choice, a risky investment. There was a flutter in your gut, a pull or a push, an unexplainable sensation that said, go for it, or stay away. That's not magic. That's not some mystical power. That is your second brain talking to you. And believe me, this second brain has its own rules, its own intelligence, and sometimes it's more honest than the one inside your skull. Let's peel this mystery open, because the gut-brain axis is one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern neuroscience. Scientists like Dr. Mayer and others,
Mayer et al. 2015 have found that the gut and brain are connected through a vast network of nerves, hormones, and even bacteria. Yes, trillions of tiny organisms living in your intestines are sending chemical signals that shape your emotions, your decisions, even your level of fear or excitement. Now, pause for a moment and really think about that. What if that nervous feeling before a big presentation wasn't just stage fright, but a biological alarm triggered by your gut microbes? What if that instant warmth when you meet someone trustworthy is your gut releasing serotonin, a happiness chemical, because it senses safety? But here's where it gets tricky. Your gut is powerful, but it's not perfect. It evolved to keep you alive in a dangerous, unpredictable world. It's great at detecting threat, but sometimes it confuses modern-day stress with ancient survival cues. That bad feeling about sending that email, that's your gut's survival bug, thinking you're about to be hunted by a predator, when in reality, you're just stepping out of your comfort zone. Let's explore a case study that will blow your mind. In 2015, researchers ran an experiment where participants had to make quick decisions about stock trades. Half of them relied on spreadsheets and data. The other half relied on gut instinct after brief market exposure. Surprisingly, the gut-driven group outperformed the data group. Why? Because their bodies had unconsciously processed complex patterns faster than their rational minds could. But don't get carried away. Gut feelings can also betray you. Imagine you meet someone new and something feels off. Is it really them? Or is your gut reacting to a childhood memory, an old wound, or even the smell of their perfume that reminds you of a negative past experience? Our gut is deeply wired to memory, emotion, and bias. So the question is, how do you know when to trust it? This is where the science gets juicy. Your gut sends signals to your brain through the vagus nerve, a superhighway of information running from your stomach to your mind. When your gut microbiome is healthy, diverse, and balanced, those signals are clearer, calmer, and more accurate. But when your gut is inflamed, stressed, or dominated by bad bacteria, it can send false alarms, leading to chronic anxiety, overthinking, or irrational fears. Ever had butterflies before a date? Or a gut punch after hearing bad news? That's your enteric nervous system, your second brain releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, changing your heart rate, your blood flow, even your breathing. In fact, 90% of serotonin, the chemical that stabilizes mood, is produced in your gut, not your brain. Now imagine this. If your gut is this influential, what happens when we feed it junk food, constant stress, and late-night anxiety scrolls? It becomes a noisy, chaotic signal factory, making you doubt everything. On the other hand, when you nourish it, fiber-rich foods, probiotics, enough sleep, it becomes a quiet guide, nudging you toward better choices without you even realizing it. So, can you trust your gut feelings? The answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. The real skill is learning to decode them. Here's a quick test. When your gut sends a signal, does it feel calm, grounded, and steady, even if it's telling you to avoid something? Or does it feel frantic, panicked, and obsessive? Calm gut signals are usually wiser. Panic gut signals are usually fear dressed as intuition. And here's another powerful insight. Gut feelings work best when combined with reflection. They're like a compass, not a map. A compass shows direction, but you still need to look at the terrain. Next time your gut says, this isn't right, pause. Breathe. Ask, is this fear or is this wisdom? Research shows that adding a few moments of reflection can increase the accuracy of gut-based decisions by up to 25%. Real-life example. Oprah Winfrey has spoken often about following her gut, even in massive business deals. She says, your gut never lies. Your head and your ego will, but your gut always knows. And yet, even she consults data, mentors, and reflection, because the gut gives the spark, but the mind builds the fire. So why does all of this matter for you right now? Because chances are, you're making dozens of micro decisions daily. Should you reply to that message? Should you take that job? Should you leave that relationship? Your gut already has an opinion. The real question is it speaking from truth or from trauma? Here's a shocking statistic. People with healthier gut microbiomes report 30 to 40% less anxiety and 25% better decision-making confidence. That means your breakfast yogurt or your late-night pizza could literally change your life's trajectory. So now you know that your gut feelings aren't just some magical nonsense. They're deeply rooted in the biology of your second brain, shaped by your microbiome, influenced by your memories, and wired to your nervous system. But here's the real question. Can you trust them? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Trusting your gut can be a superpower, but only if you know when it's speaking truth and when it's just echoing fear or old trauma. Let's make this simple. Think of your gut feeling as a friend. Some friends give great advice, others just project their own fears on you. How do you tell the difference? First, pay attention to the physical sensation. True gut intuition often feels calm, clear, like a gentle pull or quiet whisper. Anxiety-driven gut reactions feel chaotic. Tight chest, sweaty palms, racing heart. One comes from deep instinct, the other from panic. Second, check the timing. Gut instincts are fast, yes, but they also come with a strange sense of certainty, not frenzy. If you find yourself obsessively spinning scenarios, that's not intuition, that's overthinking in disguise. Here's a fascinating case study. Dr. Gerd Gigerenzer, a psychologist who studies decision-making, found that expert firefighters often make life-saving calls based on a gut feeling. They can't explain it at first. They just sense danger. Later, it turns out their subconscious noticed subtle environmental cues, unusual heat, strange airflow, something off in the sound of the blaze. Their gut was speaking the language of experience. On the flip side, consider Sarah, a woman who felt a strong gut instinct that her partner was cheating on her. She felt sick every time he was late. Her gut screamed betrayal. She confronted him, caused massive fights, and eventually the relationship ended. Later, she found out he wasn't cheating. Her gut reaction was a trauma echo from her past relationship where she had been cheated on. Her body remembered the pain and misfired. This is where gut feelings can trick you. So, how do you train your gut to be more reliable? Step 1, feed it well, literally. A healthy gut microbiome improves your mood, sharpens your intuition, and stabilizes your emotional state. Eat more fiber, fermented foods, less processed junk. Step 2, practice stillness. Meditation, slow breathing, even a daily 5-minute pause. These help you hear your gut without the static of fear. Step 3, test it. Start with small decisions: what to eat, which route to take, when to text back. Notice the outcome. Over time, your gut becomes like a muscle, sharper, wiser, more accurate. And here's a secret. The most successful people in the world, investors, surgeons, athletes, they don't ignore their gut, they refine it. Warren Buffett once said he often makes billion-dollar decisions in minutes because something just feels off or right. But what he doesn't say is his gut is trained by decades of deep analysis. It's not magic, it's experience stored in the body. So, can you trust your gut? Yes, but not blindly. Trust it like you'd trust a loyal dog. Listen to its warnings, but check the surroundings yourself. When your gut and your rational mind agree, that's when you're unstoppable. When they fight, pause, investigate. Don't let fear wear the mask of intuition. Because here's the truth most people don't realize. Your gut is your first brain. Evolution built it to keep you alive before you could think. But survival mode is not the same as thriving mode. Sometimes your gut will tell you to run when you actually need to stay. Sometimes it will tell you to stay when the real wisdom is to leave. The key is partnership, not dominance. Stop ignoring it, stop worshiping it, start collaborating with it. Imagine this. Next time you face a big decision, a job offer, a relationship choice, a life-changing move, you pause. You feel that twinge in your stomach. Instead of rushing or suppressing it, you ask, is this fear? Is this old pain? Or is this my body's truth trying to save me? That one question could change your entire life. And maybe that's the weird science we've been missing all along. The future of decision making isn't just in your brain, it's in your gut. Trust it wisely